And welcome to lecture number 6. This lecture here, we're going to actually just scratch the surface a little bit, talking about renderings, but not just renderings, but also how to go through camera view, navigate through the spaces that you have through your model. It's been a great tool for me because I've actually had an opportunity to capture a lot of mistakes or even conflicts in the design going through this way. We get so caught up on looking at elevation, looking at section, just general orthographic views, but sometimes it really pays a lot to just go inside the space and really feel how it looks like. Because on paper, or some of these more orthographic drawings, it kind of looks okay. It looks like it might work, but when you actually see it and you put the camera there, you feel like that window may be just a little bit too high, or the door, or whatever else. So it's a really great tool as well, not just for documentation purposes, but also for design. So let's take a look at it. This is the plan that I've been using for the last couple lectures. I've dropped in a few doors. I've dropped in this round here a few windows, as you can see. And at this stage, what I want to do is I actually want to create a camera in here. I've already created one now, and let me just show you here under the 3D view. This is the normal one that we get to see all the time. As you can see, let me shade that here. And you can see right now that's my ceiling. I created a floor, and my ceiling, that's just the stuff that's coming out of the ceiling. For example, the recessed lights and the 2x4 lights. We're going to show that momentarily, but at least you get a feel of what I have. This is actually what I created. Now, as you can see right now, this is a camera inside the space, and let me go ahead and back up, go to my ceiling level, and I have it basically my camera here looking this way. You can see the 2x4 lights, you can see the recessed lights. This is the grid, this is my ceiling layout. Let me go back to my 3D view, and this is where I'm at. Not a bad deal. Let's take a look at that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to ceiling level 1, and I want to create a camera, and I want to, by 2 clicks, I want to identify where the camera goes and where it's pointing at. So what I'm going to do is I am basically going to go to, you see a little house here that we've been looking at. There's either a drop down list here. You have to be really careful because you can accidentally click on this one. There's a little smaller little drop down arrow that you have these options, or you can go to the view and you have the 3D house here under the view tab. Click down and you have default 3D, which takes you to the normal view we've been seeing up to now. It takes you to camera, it takes you to walkthrough. Let's go to camera. So you click on camera, and it basically needs 2 points. The points where the first point is where you're standing from, so I want to click here. Oh, that didn't work. Let's go ahead and undo. That was kind of goofy. So once again, let's go camera, click, drag, and as you can see, I can point it around and let go, and then click. Okay, I'm going to basically back up there. Once again, under the View tab, 3D View, Camera, and what I'm going to do is basically say click, drag, and I can point it wherever I want. Maybe I want to view it from this corner or this corner, and I'm going to say let go and click. And there you go. You can shade it like you've been doing the rest of your models. Add more detail if you want, if that applies. Now what I want to introduce you guys is we've seen this little cube up to now, right? But we really haven't talked about the steering wheel. The steering wheel is a great tool, and that's the tool you're going to use to basically move around this model. There's a little disc that you see up here. If you click on that, you get this little kind of steering wheel tool that what it's doing, it follows your mouse around. And let's say if I click on the pan and hold down, you got to click and hold it down. Once again, I just click and hold down. You can pan up and down. You see how those lights go through the ceiling there? That's basically the recessed lights. If I say look, and the secret is to hover over and hold it down, and you can look around the space. Let's say like a 3D game or a video game. And let go. And if you say walk, this one's a little tricky, so it takes a little while to get used to. You click, hold it down, and let's say you drag up slowly, because you can go very fast, or you can go really slow. So you can go and you can walk around the model as you see, and well, I'm going through the wall there, so just don't pay any attention to me. I'm basically on the next room over, as you can see, and I'm going to go through the wall here. Okay, so you know, this entire time I actually have my mouse pressed down, but I just let it go and I go pan to center it. So it takes a little getting used to. You gotta, you know, look around. If you want to stay stationary here and just say look, the secret is to hover over, click, and drag. And there you go. You can look around and you don't have to worry about moving around or anything. You stay in the same position, just looking around like if you're there. So you can see the ceiling, you can see the windows all around, so on and so forth. All this stuff is in your book. It should help a little bit more if you need additional clarifications on it. Last thing is, let's talk about renderings. If you actually want to render this out to make a picture of it, it's actually pretty neat. There's while you're in this 3D view, you can click on, there's like a little genie lamp here. It looks like a little genie lamp or a teapot with a little light bulb. You click on that, and it basically takes you to this guy here. Okay, and that's basically where you set up what you want, or the sun or whatnot. I'm going to give you some basic settings for you to mimic, and that way at least you get used to more or less the workflow. So for quality, I'm going to go just medium for now. Obviously, the higher the quality, the slower it takes to finish the animation, or not animation, sorry, the rendering. Obviously animation as well. So I'm going to leave it for medium right now. I just want to render out just the artificial lighting. So as far as the lighting scheme, I'm going to say interior artificial only. There you go, interior artificial only. So I've selected medium, resolution, whatever's on my screen's fine. Lighting scheme, interior artificial only. Okay, everything else leave it default for now. Okay, and when you're done, just hit render. Not a bad deal. So it's that easy. Revit is really, really slow though for rendering, so be really patient. The higher the quality, the slower it gets. So you have to be really, really patient, but you can get some pretty good quality out of it. This is what it looks like basically. I did render out an example. Let me go ahead and show that. And this view here, this is a rendering I did, so show rendering. And as you can see, it basically took into consideration these 4 downlights, and then this 2x4 light and this 2x4 light. You can see all the materials that automatically have been applied by whatever you specified, and this is all specified through the element properties. So every time you kept going through element properties and specifying different materials and whatever else, it actually reflects it at the end in the renderings. Okay, I really didn't specify any materials. This is your generic walls and your generic floor, so it just kind of gave you a generic color. But you could see all the wash and the indirect lighting, how it hits adjacent spaces and everything. So it does a pretty good job as far as trying to be as realistic as possible in simulating real-time lighting. Okay, so this is the final solution right now as far as the rendering and how that space would look. I have no sun outside, and it's basically just 2x4 lights and then 4 down lights, and as you can see, some of the hot spots and some of the adjacent wash. Once again, this is through the view tab, click down, and we create the camera here. Now to create the camera, once again, you have to make sure that you're in your floor plan level. Okay, so you have to go through your floor plan. I'm going to create another one, camera, click, hold down, let go, and click. Okay, and we talked about the steering wheel. It's right here. You click over the disc, and you have to hover over, as you can see, hover over the option you want. You want to go up, down, click, hold it down, and here I can go up and down. It's like a little elevator right now. So there's some really neat options. Go through your books. Takes a little bit of practicing, but it's actually worthwhile. So it's a quick way to do it. We talked about the walking tool, so you can actually walk through your models. It's a neat way that you can do that, and it takes a little getting used to, so don't get too frustrated if all of a sudden you go all over the place, all right? So, you know, you have to be really careful. All right, hope you enjoyed, and keep practicing. Thanks.